all see to the love and love take you in.
I'd rather dance with you than talk with you. So why don't we just move into the other room? A space for us to shake and hear like this tune. Even if I could hear what you said, I doubt my reply would be.
Alright, we're joined by my nieces, my two nieces. On the left we have Tiffany. Hello, Tiffany.
Hello.
How old are you?
I am 17.
And we're joined by my other niece, Akane. Hello, Akane.
Hello.
And how old are you, Akane?
I'm 15.
Okay. And we're just doing an interview with them today. We're going to ask them some tough questions about today's life and society. And we're going to get this generation's perspective on how they view life. Thank you, Tiffany. Okay, let's just kind of jump into this. What do you think of the situation with today's youth in school and the violence that is taking place with our youth shooting each other and basically gunning everybody down in the schools? What do you guys, girls, think of this?
Do you want to go first?
You would.
Okay, I guess I'll go first. Well, I guess really I think it's bad. I think instead of shooting each other and going against each other for, really dumb reasons, that we should be all working together as a community.
You were to say that.
Instead of, resulting to violence, because violence is only going to end up in violence and it gets you nowhere. But with, other things like, staying in school and getting good education and just doing the right thing, you could get somewhere in life.
Nobody ever solved anything with hate.
How do you feel about the pressure of today's society?
That's a good, fabulous question.
I want to answer first.
Okay.
Society is full of hypocrites. So the people who expect it to be one way then judge you if you're not a certain way, and then if you're that way then they still judge you. And society, they look for someone to idolize, someone who they can picture themselves being in the future, when really they should just be themselves. That's what I have to say for that.
Society is full of narcissistic douchebags that just want you to be they give you an image that they think you want to that they think you should portray, even though they try to make you be yourself, but they hate you for being yourself too. They throw these images of being skinny and having a natural beauty and long hair and just all this crap, plants it into females' minds along with dudes, and just give you this idea that you're not good enough for anybody or for even yourself, and that being yourself is not okay, and you're just going to be judged constantly regardless. And society puts pressure on teenagers all throughout the world. Bullying is mostly society, and how kids are characterized and the opinions that are thrown at each other. All the hate in this world is mostly society, and it's just crap. Why are we judged so much for being ourselves? And we can't, and the society is telling us to be ourselves, but we're still being constantly judged for it. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. That's my thoughts on the world.
What do you think of all the situations with all the racism that's been going on lately?
I could go on and on about that, but I won't. And I'm just going to narrow it down to something really simple. Basically, we need to, as a black person in America, I think that instead of us just, doing our own thing, that we should all come together as a community and not just be doing our own thing or thinking, oh, well, that's not important, because really it is, and we'll never get respect if we don't do something about it.
What do you think we should do as African Americans living in today's society? Or Caucasians or Latin American or Spanish or Asian? What can we do to better our society?
Really, I think it starts with the younger generation, like offspring, and you should really like raise your children to be a good person in society and not just like let them go about with their lives and be out on the streets or not being in school. Instead, you should like raise them to be good people so that they will know this stuff and they will be able to, you know, do good. But I guess it mainly starts with the younger generation, because a lot of people, they don't have hope in this generation. And sometimes I find myself not having hope in me either because of the things that I've seen and experienced. But it all starts with what parents teach their children.
What would you say about the absence of parenting in today's youth and society, with a lot of fathers not being there for their kids or being in the jail system and mothers left to fence for themselves raising kids? I mean, how can they do it?
I want to comment on that. Okay, so I know someone who has been in that situation where their father is in jail, and all it really does is it just gives you this feeling of abandonment and loneliness. Like, you have the person that you expect to be there for you and what, like, that you want to be there for you is not there. So you have this absence and this, like, you know, you don't have the feeling of real fatherly love. And, you know, mothers that are just ignoring you and doing whatever they want and just considering their own problems and issues, it's not helping the kids in any way. Kids are being neglected nowadays by parents who are so focused on themselves and their own problems that they don't like understand how bad it hurts their kids. And when kids act out, you know, they get this anger from their parents, as in like, why are you messing up? I taught you better than that. Like, I taught you not to mess up and all this stuff. But the influence that they're giving like their kids with neglecting them and not being there in their lives emotionally, it's their fault for their kids messing up. Not like not completely, because sometimes it's your own decision if you mess up, and I get it. But there's still a constant cry for help that kids have nowadays. Yeah.
What are some of the steps that parents can do to bridge that gap between their kids if they're still struggling with the issues themselves and their own insecurities that may have been passed down by their parents, or that the pressures they're enduring in today's society? How can they know? What are some of the signs that, you know, you're missing, that your kid is hurting?
Your kid ignores you too.
Well, what I think about that is that, well, I think you should stay like with your kid and like stay in their business, even though they may hate it and they may think, oh, like, why are you like bothering me? Like, it's my own privacy. But really, like, I know myself that because my mother stayed like in my business, that like it helped me a lot. And if you like stay with your children and allow them to like speak openly instead of like always like just punishing them, because that's just only going to make it worse. But really, you should just like talk to your kids and not just ignore them or think, oh, they're just being teens and they're just being teenagers and oh, whatever. You should just talk to them, because sometimes they want you to talk to them, but they just don't know how to reach out to you, and they don't know if you'll care.
Okay. We're going to change topics here a little bit, and we're going to deal with early pregnancy by young people.
Oh, yay.
How is it possible that young girls are getting caught up and getting pregnant at a young age? What's one of the reasons this is happening? And what can parents do to stop it?
Okay, first of all, neglecting parents, once again, it's always how you were raised and like how you grew up that affects it. You know, wanting love and a little pathetic male nowadays. Of course you're going to get pregnant because you don't know how to treat yourself and like what way you should be treated. So you get pregnant and you end up, throwing your life away. But I hate when people are judged for, getting pregnant. Because people can have sex a lot and no one's going to say anything. But if you get pregnant, you're automatically labeled as a whore, which is, like, you shouldn't have sex regardless, but still, it's society, once again. And parents, you need to just stop being so full of your own ways and stop, like, thinking
stop
about...
being selfish.
Stop being selfish and stop being so worried about the past. Like, the past is the past. It's the past for a reason. Because it shouldn't affect the future. And you need to stop being worried about, all the crap that happened when you were a kid. Because you're grown now and you're, like, you have opportunities to redo your life and to just affect it more positively in your children's life.
What should a parent do if they find out that their daughter has become pregnant?
Well,
And shouldn't the kid take responsibility for their action as well?
I think a child or a girl who gets pregnant, they should take responsibility. One thing I do not think they should do is get an abortion, because I believe that abortion is killing a child, no matter how developed it is. But basically, like, if a girl does get pregnant, then at a young age, then her mother or father or both shouldn't, like, label her as, like, a whore or, like, be rude to her, just yell at her or anything, because that's only going to make it worse. What they should do is, like, try to figure out a plan in advance, have the baby, and if she wants to keep it, then she could keep it, and then I think the parent should, like, continue to help until she can make it on her own.
Support her.
Yeah, because she's still your child, even though she did have a child. You still have to raise her. And so...
Would you say it's fair, though, for a parent that's raised their daughter to know better and for the kid to make a stupid decision to have to bear the responsibility of their daughter's poor choice?
I mean, sure, it's, like...
Unless it was rape.
Yeah, unless it was, like, rape, then that's, like, not their fault. But, sure, like, it's probably, like, not the best that the parents have to, like, carry their responsibility, and sure, the children should have known better, but still, they know themselves that they made mistakes when they were younger, stupid mistakes, just like them, so they should know that, and know and understand that, of course, like, sometimes we were going to make mistakes as teenagers.
Okay. Change the topic here a little bit. Dealing with today's headlines, we have a lot of talk about, people hacking from overseas, and you have all the, in particular, of course, the North Korea hacking into Sony's files and exposing stuff, and you have the threat of Ebola going around. And what do you think of
Ebola?
You caught on to my get on this. I thought I can slip that one
No,
in
you
there.
said it so seriously.
I know, right? I didn't do
Ebola.
it.
I was like, is he sure he said it right?
Yes,
Like,
the
that's
get on
cool.
this.
I know.
Okay, so today's, when you turn on the news, all you hear is propaganda. You hear, wars, rumors of wars, plagues coming.
It's depressing.
You hear scandals being unreleased. Everybody's coming out of the closet. Some people are going back in the closet. Some people just lock the closet. So, you have a lot of issues. When you girls look at today's news and social media, does it give you any hope?
No. But, like, sometimes I want to have hope in, like, everyone in this world. And other times I'm just like, they're going to do what they want to do regardless. So there's nothing we can really do about it. With, like, all this going on with the news and, like, hackers and, like, Ebola, it hasn't really, like, entered in, well, it has entered into the U.S., but no one's really gotten, like, infected much. Like, not many people have gotten infected, so I don't get why we're worrying about it so much when it's only in Africa. We should be worrying about them. And we should worry about finding a cure for there and, helping them out in Africa instead of, worrying about it here when we're fine.
Now, and that's fair. This is a discussion where you're allowed to voice your opinions in all honesty.
He's saying you're wrong.
Let's talk about a very hard topic to deal with, but we have to go there. Let's talk about church. And let's talk about churches today in America, how they're viewed, and the people that go to the churches, the hypocrites, the people that are true and are totally dedicated, the people that are walking in deception, the people that have pretty much only care about the political gain. When you look at today's churches in America, what's your opinion of them?
Can I go first? Or do you want to go first?
I just want to say something small.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, there's a
Something
lot
like
of
rant
churches.
on.
Yeah, I know you are. That's why I was like, let me go first. Like, a lot of churches are full of, like, hypocritical, judgmental people in the Bible. It says only God can judge, necessarily. And, like, I hate how church people are so judgmental on, like, everything and everybody when they're so worried just about everything, and they have such a pessimistic attitude towards everything when they shouldn't be so judgmental. Like, it's pushing people in the place to think that, church people are just, have one way of thinking and they're not open-minded to anything. They have, like, no positive thoughts towards anything. Plus, they're all just, just everybody's going to hell. And that attitude.
Okay, what I have to think about that is that, like you said, a lot of so-called Christians are very judgmental. And clearly the Bible says not to judge people and that God will judge you in the end. I don't think we should judge people. But a lot of Christians, they tend to judge people who aren't Christians, and that's only pushing them away. And they're hypocrites sometimes, and they can be very hypocritical. And then for the people who, like, are living right, good for them, and I think that they should continue to, bring more souls to Christ. And sometimes I think with church and Christianity, there's more religious people than Christian people. With religious people, they just care about going to church every Sunday and, doing giving their offering and doing all that, and then going home and doing the same thing they were doing, which is probably, like, something that's not even, like, Christian-like. They go back to, like,
watching the Kardashians.
and, like, they're probably, like, go to a club or something like that. And I don't know. But
What do you think of the rise of different religions in this country?
More specific, what are you asking?
Well, I think he's, like, asking, like, all the religions look like.
He literally just restated what he said.
I know what he's talking about, but
you answer.
with really even though it kind of doesn't make sense because they say it's one nation under God, and then there's so many religions, so I don't really think we're one nation under God. I think there's some people under God, and there's some people who are off in other things. So there's that. But if you're a different religion, I'm not gonna, like, judge you or anything. Like, I respect you, but, even though I may not agree with what you believe in.
Okay, then let's deal with the hard topic.
Oh, yay.
What do you think of the media's willingness, propaganda, to flood their agenda, whether it be the gay agenda or just no one has a voice, hate crime speeches? What do you think of this whole new agenda and this new era that we're living in, where they want to label people a hate crime that disagree with other people's lifestyles? What do you think of the media in this regards?
I'd rather dance, I'd rather